It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 181 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee house in historic Bel Air, Maryland. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Today is some delicious Sumatra coffee.
It is very good and strong. Are you ready to sip some of this strong coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so how are you doing?
I need to build an ark.
Yeah, it's been rainy the last few days. It went from the 90s back to the high 50s and rain.
I sheared all the animals, and then I was like, maybe we didn't need to rush to shear the animals, but the humidity level has been so high.
I clipped down both dogs because they were hot as anything with the 90 degrees, and then it got cold, and then I put t-shirts on and made fun of them because they say, "What up, dog?"
I made fun of them?
You did. You're like, what does your t-shirt say? "What up, dog?"
I was appreciating. I wasn't making fun of. I like it.
They
look so funny running around their
sleeveless striped hoodies on.
Okay, it's a hoodie. That's the whole thing. Your dogs are wearing hoodies. Dogs in hoodies.
Well, they were like...
That could be another podcast, Dogs in Hoodies.
It was so hot. And then once the hair came off, like you would wake up with a dog wrapped around your neck because they were freezing. They were trying to get any kind of body heat they could. So I remember that I had these like cotton t-shirts with hoods.
Wait, they're not supposed to be dog shirts?
Oh, they are.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, that's kind of ingenious.
And I'm like, I remember buying them thinking, this isn't my favorite, but I'm going to need them in the summer at some point. So yeah, they're wearing those. And yeah, it's been rainy and I don't want to wish back hot weather. No. But I would.
Don't do that.
I would just like spring. Where's spring?
I know. Where is spring?
It's not here.
I have a bunch of cold weather veggies in, and I don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't get too hot for them.
Oh, before you can harvest them?
Yeah, I've got snap peas and all kinds of good stuff.
It went from heat to AC very quickly.
But this is good and bad. Roses usually bloom late May, early June.
Yeah.
All of my roses are coming into bloom right now.
My peonies they have blooms on them. I'm like, please don't go too cold and ruin, the blooming of the peony. Please. They're my favorite flower. No.
Do you have any of the white peonies?
I don't have.
Which is lucky because the white ones will ball in really wet weather.
I don't think I have white ones out there.
Okay. I've got a white bush at the farm that I think I planted 25 years ago.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
Yes, indeed. So, what else is flying? You know what else is flying? There's baby leghorns.
Every time I'm on the phone with you, they sound very loud over there.
They're very active and they're quickly outgrowing their brooder. They're beautiful little babies.
Mine are the calm bunch. They like to snuggle and they're very they look at me, they look up and they're like, "Are you taking us out? Please say that you are. We'll be good." And then they just chirp a little bit and then they go about their business. They eat. But yours, every time you're on the phone, it sounds like a pack of crazies over there.
Yeah, they're very, very active. The Faverolles are kind of the odd girls out.
Yeah.
Because they're very calm and sweet. The Dorkings even, it's the whole chipmunk tribe.
The chipmunk
tribe is always running and jumping and doing all kinds of things. So
you've got 6 chipmunks.
I do, but I will say this. They're a lot of fun to watch. And like I said, if I pick one up and snuggle her, she's fine.
Yeah.
It's just in the brooder together. It's like, mayhem.
Oh, yeah. It sounds crazy. Well, on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. Believe it or not, you make our day when you have something really nice to say about the work that we do. It really does do a lot for the growth of our show. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button. It's another free way to help us grow. And They count them. On Spotify, too, they count them. And you can go over to Spotify and give us 5 stars over there. We would love it.
Plus, you never miss an episode.
You never miss one.
If you're looking for other ways to help the show, you can tell some friends about our podcast. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. As always, a gigantic thank you to our patrons. You can visit our Etsy shop, t-shirts, logo mugs.
Hey, and the tanks.
Oh, yeah, the pink tanks. I love those. And the other thing you can do to help support the podcast is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like subscription boxes?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let me take a minute to tell you about the Chicken Love Box. If you love goodies for your chickens and you need to go to chickenlove.com.
I love the mega box. Tons of useful products for my flock and a chicken tea for me.
You can't go wrong with a chicken tea. They are so cute and so soft.
In the April box, I absolutely love the chick leg bands and the organic soap set with hen decoration.
I am loving the Chicken Spirit long sleeve tee, and those chick vitamins, they could save a chick for sure.
Boxes start at $39 a month. They ship immediately after your order, and shipping is always free.
Such a great deal. Don't wait. Get off the nest and click already. Use the code CWTCL50 for 50% off your first box of a 3-month subscription or more. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's time for the Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a little excited for Holly for this Breed Spotlight.
Wait, stop the presses.
Wait, this is excitement for you.
That's what I'm saying.
Because this is a Breed Spotlight all for Holly Ann and her goose obsession, because it's real and it's a deal.
You all know that she's been giving me nothing but a hard time about these geese. And so when she proposed the American Buff Goose, I said, wow, yeah.
Well, our main topic, we're going to be continuing our conversation with Katy and Marc over at Metzer Farms. So I think that we should tie it together. That's what we do with our show.
Well, yes, since they have geese and ducks, and you're about to be a goose auntie.
Oh my God. They better not chase me, man. I'm going to be, oh
you just
Lord.
need to spend some time on the old homestead snuggling gooses.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Okay, so we didn't mention, but this Breed Spotlight is the
American Buff Goose.
Honk honk.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Holly's so excited on the other side of the table right now. If you could see her, she threw her pen because she was like, yeah, this is excitement.
The American Buff is one of only a few American heritage breed geese. There aren't huge numbers of goose breeds anyway.
No.
There are only a couple that truly are American. I think like the Cotton Patch, the Pilgrim, the American Buff.
They're gaining popularity too. We've had people messaging us asking where they can get them. Mm-hmm. We send them, but there are a lot that are sold out because you need to go like to Metzer Farms, to McMurray Hatchery in November to order your geese.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I put my order in with Ginger in November. I think so.
Because if you don't, they will be sold out.
The Buffs are beautiful and they're friendly and they're relatively easy to care for. I mean, in so much as a goose is easy to care for.
And you have to make sure that you know that you're going to be putting in a longer commitment with a goose too.
Oh yeah, they can live 20 to 25 years.
Right. So you have to be ready for that long commitment.
Mm-hmm. Now, color aside, they look like the typical American farm goose that's found all over Europe and the US. You know, The ones that...
In the fairy tales.
Yeah, yeah.
In the children's books.
They were accepted into the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1947, so they're post-war birds.
The year my dad was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're currently listed in the watch category of the Livestock Conservancy's Conservation Priority List. Now, in the UK, the American Buff was admitted to the British Poultry Standards in 1982. You and I were 10 years old. And it has subsequently become a much heavier bird. So in the UK, they've been moved up to a heavy breed.
Oh, they're heavy. They're big.
Well, they're medium here, heavy there.
They still look big to me.
Goose is big.
I mean, everybody's seen Charlotte's Web?
Yeah.
The goose is always the old lady that's like got all the like
smarts.
Yeah.
Smarts
like,
and attitude.
Try to like help the situation. And all these children's shows, the goose is always like the old lady in the situation. I don't know why they always make her the old lady.
I don't know, because they live longer than the rest of the animals. And they got an attitude. I love them.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
So unlike chickens and even ducks, it is a lot harder to trace the history of domestic geese. Most of what's written comes from like the 1940s to the 1960s, that period. And there really isn't even that much of that.
It's not that far back.
So some recent research, including dating and study of bird bones, has shown that geese were domesticated along the Yangtze River in China at least 7,000 years ago.
Okay.
So if you think about that huge time span, most of our history with domestic geese is not known. Now, there's all this controversy. You know, chickens are supposed to be 10,000 years old. There have been studies to support that. Other people have tried to discredit those studies. Some people are running around waving a flag saying geese are the oldest domestic bird. Other people are saying it's a chicken. Who cares? They've been with us for a long time.
Who cares?
Sheep are older than both of them.
I mean, look, you're nowhere near as old as the thousands of years that they've been around. So
I feel like it sometimes.
You're going to be the goose in the children's story.
Now, let
me tell you something. When you go to the river, head right and then go rescue those puppies.
Wasn't it the goose that was in Charlotte's Web who was spelling?
Probably
double E, double T, double. Yeah, I think that's the goose. Yeah. Now, interesting. I thought this was fascinating, especially given some of the wars we see over cereal grains and poultry. It seems that these early geese in China had a rice-based diet.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's very
they're
strange.
Vegetarian. I guess cereal grains are okay.
Was it cooked
for
very
them.
well? Because if not, it can expand inside birds. That's what they say.
I'm sure it would have been cooked. I mean, if they okay.
That's what I want to know.
They domesticated these geese and kept them alive. So I'm assuming they figured out what to do.
Did they boil this rice first? That's what I need to know.
Maybe. Or maybe they just gave the birds a couple grains and a whole lot of water.
And inside it just expanded. That's why they always say don't throw rice at weddings because it kills birds.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, we still have geese, so they couldn't have killed all of them with the rice. What we think of as the European-style farm goose was definitely kept in Europe in pretty big numbers during the medieval period. And they must have traveled to the Americas with various waves of explorers and settlers.
Right.
And no, the pilgrim goose was not on the Mayflower.
Back to the Mayflower again.
Pilgrim goose was not on the Mayflower. So I turned to the writings of Mr. Oscar Grow. Oscar Grow raised, showed, and judged waterfowl virtually his entire life. He was the writer of the Universal Waterfowl Standard and Judging Guide. He believed that the American Buff Goose had two likely origins, and both of those origins probably trace back to the Pomeranian geese, which are a German breed.
Okay.
The first possibility was that buff appeared as a natural sport or a natural mutation in farm geese, and selective breeding ensued, and they created buff geese. The other possibility was using a buff bird like the Welsh Brecon Buff Goose as a foundation breed, or the origin could be a combination of the two.
People like buff birds.
People like buff birds. They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. I mean, when you have a golden yellow bird, nothing more beautiful. You
know we love the Toulouse goosey, but did you know there's a buff version of the Toulouse?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I do know that, actually.
You do know that.
But yeah, there's something about a buff bird in whatever kind of poultry you have that people just love.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what they look like, okay? True to their name, American Buff Geese are pretty, and they're buff. Yellow, apricot, however you want to call it.
Yeah, people describe it as apricot, yeah.
I mean, the color is the darkest on their back and lightens as it approaches their belly, their abdomen, which is white. Now, if you're going to be showing your buffs, try to avoid exposing them to strong sunlight. okay, which can bleach the color of their feathers. If you think about it, it can happen to any of your poultry.
Sure.
The sun can bleach those colors.
That's what you always see in black animals, including black sheep.
Yeah.
You know, they're beautiful black, but they're in the sun so much that the tips red out and you got a red sheep.
Yeah. Okay, so they have brown eyes, a light orange bill that if you're not careful,
Gonna get you.
Gonna get you.
That goose gonna get you.
And orange legs and feet. So they're pretty of the orange color. They would go with where I live in Falston. It's always Falston orange. They should be right in there.
Perfect.
They have deep, full breast and a broad, plump body. I mean, it's plump.
It's made for hugging. Made for hugging and loving.
Well, you better imprint on it. They better do some imprinting if you're going to be hugging,
you're going to get the orange bill.
I mean, the orange bill's going to be coming at you that's coming at your nose, your eyes, whatever.
I plan on having a very loving relationship with my goslings.
Oh, you better, because if not, you're going to be like, ow, they got me again. They got me. I didn't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. It got me. It got me. Okay, so they have dual lobes in the paunchy part of their abdomen. So the lobes are moderately sized, not heavy, and exaggerated like the dewlap Toulouse, okay? As a medium-class goose, the gander will weigh in at about 18 pounds and the goose about 16 pounds. So
that is more bird to love.
You better have them imprint. I cannot say this enough.
More bird to love.
Yeah. So the beautiful buff goose will lay about 25 plus large white eggs per year. That's not a lot.
For a goose, it is.
For a goose. So it is for a goose, but again, you're getting them for pets, the longevity of them being pets, and eggs as...
Well, right. I mean, if you want a lot of eggs, the way to go is the Chinese or the African, especially the Chinese geese, because they've been selected for egg laying.
Right. Now, the buffs are known for broodies, okay? So they do make good moms, and they'll sit on their eggs. They'll be happy. Or, you know, they'll take eggs from other geese and
Somebody
sit on
else's,
them.
Yeah, yep.
They can sit on chicken eggs, too, potentially. Unless they want to crush them. I don't know if they would crush them or not.
They might crush them, yeah, because the goose eggshell is way harder than a chicken eggshell.
So the American Buff Goose is curious, right?
Friendly and even affectionate.
Once they've imprinted.
You are hung up on that. They make great pets, and they are a beautiful addition to a poultry lady or gent's flock.
Yeah. Like most of the goose breeds, they're a surprisingly practical bird to add to a homestead because they're gonna help you with gardening. They're gonna eat the insects.
They'll graze down your grass. You can actually teach them which weeds to eat. And they contribute fertilizer.
They actually do have a reputation of being flock guards also, but you don't want to use them for that.
I mean, that's a sticky wicket right there, because my understanding is any goose will yell if it sees something it doesn't like.
But they're not big enough to take on something.
No,
a hawk's not going to come get a goose. So they might try.
They might attack.
They might attack
I don't
goose.
think a hawk's going to carry off an 18-pound goose.
But other things would definitely try to attack a goose.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past a hungry fox.
No, me either. But they do have reputations for sounding a much louder alarm.
Yes, they're good alarms.
So they do have the reputation of being a flock guard. But I wouldn't get them just for that purpose.
No, I honestly don't think that's fair, because they really can't. Maybe they could fight off a raccoon. I don't even know that.
I don't think they could either.
I just wouldn't put them in that position.
I don't think you should ever, but they do have that reputation.
But they will go off. Anytime someone they don't recognize comes onto your property, your geese are going to go off.
Now, you better let them imprint on that UPS man, too. If you're ordering from Amazon, you better be like, look, you better come pet my goslings, because when you bring on my Amazon packages, you don't want this goose to be attacking
He's got to bring a handful of greens every time, just like dog bones, and throw them out.
Yeah, there you go.
The beautiful buff is considered a dual-purpose bird. Some people even collect their shed or molted feathers for craft use. I will probably be doing that.
Where's my headdress?
Oh, girl. Buff headdress. As show birds, they have a very loyal following. They're beautiful birds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went to Ohio. The waterfowl building, I think, was as big or bigger than the chicken building. I don't know which. I think there were more waterfowl there than chickens.
Maybe with the call ducks, because
and the call ducks were with the chickens, though.
Everywhere you looked, there was a row of call ducks under the chickens. It was call duck city.
Yeah, it really was.
So cute. So
here's the big burning question. It's burning,
smoldering.
Man. Where can you get the American Buff Goose?
McMurray Hatchery does sell American Buff goslings. Metzer Farms is another great source. If you want to find local goslings or geese, try the Livestock Conservancy's Breeders Directory. And that's it. The beautiful American Buff Goose.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. When this episode drops, my goslings are 2 weeks away. The buffs are marzipan and pfeffernuss.
Oh, yeah. Marzipan and Fefa. It's Fefa.
Fefa?
I don't know. That's crazy.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder and 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes.
UK chicken lovers, this one's for you. Get happy, healthy hens with ECONourish's live Calci worms. Enrichment, nutrition, and protection in one tasty, sustainable pack. Scientifically proven to support glossy feathers, strong laying and skeletal health,
protect from disease, and improve gut health and immunity. You'll also bust flock stress by stimulating natural instincts and get eco-bragging rights. Visit ECONourish.co.uk and use the code COFFEE15 for 15% off your first order. Your chickens and the planet will hug you for it. Okay, so are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah. Okay, so we're welcoming back Marc and Katy Metzer. We're going to be talking about adult ducks and geese this week. We're welcoming them back to our table. They got their coffee over there. Welcome back, guys.
Cheers.
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 Okay, so let's move into, we're past the brooder stage. We did all this. What's our setup look like for ducks or the geese, adults?
Really, any shelter that is predator proof should be good for a duck or a goose. I think the main thing to keep in mind is that ducks and geese don't perch like a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So they do need a place on the floor where they could nest or sit or sleep. The only perching duck is like a Muscovy duck. That's the only one that we're selling that's perching. So the vast majority on the ground, there isn't a whole lot of difference other than that. So if you have a chicken coop that has a ramp going up to it, you might need to widen that ramp so they could get into it and train them how to go up the ramp. I see it all the time. People have ducks going up and down ramps. So they do it. You just might need to coerce them with treats or food or something like that.
That was one of the things I had seen out there when I was doing research is the duck house is a lower to the ground, wider ramped house and you don't have to have a roost bar. They like to snuggle in. I often think, why don't the chickens do this? It seems like it would be way more comfortable to snuggle in versus to roost, but it's not in their nature. You know, a bigger, like almost people say they use like dog houses. You can use those with a wide ramp, something that has, a good open and closed door, but it doesn't have to be a coop per se. They can be too high.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my sister has a little run that's 8 by 10 feet, and then it's connected to just it like almost like a single dog house that they go into, and that works perfectly. And she has 2 ducks and a goose, I think.
Oh,
That's nice.
And she actually has 2 Muscovy and a large dewlap Toulouse. And I was over there, and we had the Muscovies perching on my shoulder like a pirate. It was quite fun.
They're big ducks, aren't they?
Yeah, these are female ducks, so they're not as big. Muscovy, the size difference between a male and a female is almost double weight. And these are females. Although I could have easily taken a male on my shoulder, no biggie for me.
So it's so funny because my husband and I, we go to Ponte Vedra with the family sometimes. What is the name of that resort? Oh my God. It's the Marriott there in Ponte Vedra. And there's a Muscovy duck that's lived there for like the whole time that we've been there. And this duck, I don't know how she's escaped the crocs or the alligators that are on this property in Florida, but she has. And she always finds us and follows us around. In fact, we had this little villa, and every morning you would wake up to the tapping of her at the window because we started feeding her, and she would be tapping at the window to wake us up to say, come out. And she was just like a dog. She would follow you everywhere. I love Muscovy ducks. They're so cute.
Yeah, I think ducks is one of the biggest things people talk about is their personality and their character. What do I say?
Their curiosity about what you're doing.
Yeah, they're just very entertaining to the bird owners. They have fun. They look for things to do. They're interested. They're curious. Yeah.
It's the Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra. That's what it is. The Sawgrass Resort. Okay. Yeah. And they have a really cool Muscovy duck, and just, she's cool as anything.
So it might be a wild duck in Florida. Muscovies are actually a duck that can be living wild in a few states, right?
Yeah, but I think they used to be domestic, and then they're not native wild.
Okay.
And living on this Marriott resort, she's getting all kinds of food. She's not wild, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what are some of the benefits of keeping ducks?
Well, they're entertaining, they're active, and they're curious. And that, to me, is a big advantage. But they lay big, delicious, beautiful eggs for eating. Family history, they take care of gardens, snails, and slugs. They can handle cold temperatures just fine. They're good foragers. So we do sell some duck eggs to people that are allergic to chicken eggs. So if you've got a child or something that's allergic to chicken eggs, get some ducks, and you could replace a chicken egg with a duck egg with any recipe. And we learned that my brother-in-law is actually allergic to duck eggs after he got extremely sick a couple times after eating cookies at our house because we
Which one of those cookies?
So it is possible to be allergic to duck eggs and not chicken eggs too. Ducks don't fly over fences, so you could keep them in an area more easily. They don't crow in the morning like a rooster. So you're not going to bother your neighbors. There a lot of neighborhoods, they might have a chicken ordinance. There's no duck ordinance. They lay their eggs in the morning, so you let them out of the coop or their cage, you collect their eggs, you're done for the day. How much time do we got?
Keep going.
I've heard that sometimes geese get combative about egg collecting during breeding season. How do you deal with that?
So I could only speak to my experience, and it's never been combative. It's been intimidation, but without any, what is that saying? Like carry a big stick, but
speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but never that they've pecked me for collecting their eggs or anything like that. So I could see it happening possibly, but I could just say it hasn't happened to me.
Okay. Well,
yeah. And I do remember, I mean, growing up on a duck and goose farm, I was scared of the geese as a child. And the house I grew up in was next door to my grandma's house where my dad grew up. And so we would have to walk through the goose pasture to get there. And so me and my sisters were scared of it. And so he asked my dad, like, what do we do? And so he said, just raise up your arms and look big. And so every time we went to my grandma's house, we would run through the pasture with our hands raised high above our hand, trying to scare the geese. And I don't know if that worked, but thinking back, if people saw us running across a pasture looking like that, they probably thought we were crazy kids.
Anywhere.
Hey, but it worked. You said you never got attacked. So
yeah,
it worked.
It did work. It did work. Yes.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. So much good stuff. So if there were 5 easy tips that you could give somebody out there that's thinking about waterfowl, what do you think? What would be the 5 easy tips in raising or getting started?
5 easy tips. Really, I think it's the water is the most important part. So can I say water, 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 and then the niacin? Is that okay? Honestly, because the brooding is similar to chickens, except for the water. The actual raising as the ducks age and the adults, it's really easy. And so it's all about taking care of the water and making sure they can drink water, but not make a mess too much. And that mess is really going to affect you more than the ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about controlling the water, giving them access to swim in an area that you're okay with getting wet, moving the water around, maybe restricting access to water to swim on the weekends or in the evenings. So it's about how you're going to manage your water. And part of the way we manage our water is we use plastic slatted flooring above our waters. And so any water they spill or drip down, it falls through the flooring and they don't have access to play in that puddle. That's how we do it. Other people have different strategies. But if you don't want them splashing water, don't give them access to jump into the water in certain areas.
And that's what somebody could do a do-it-yourself thing with like pallets and then put something under it, like trays under pallets or something. You know, you could kind of fix that easily with the water bowls and the feed. Now they do need food and water together because they need water when they eat, correct?
Right. That's correct.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be the swimming water that they need next.
You've said that ducks and geese are pretty healthy and hardy. Is that pretty much true across the board for both species?
Yeah, it is. We just don't see problems and don't hear about problems that we hear about with chickens. We vaccinate our breeders for salmonella, but there isn't anything else that we need to vaccinate them for.
Mm-hmm.
They're just hardy and they're, in my opinion, easy to take care of.
Great.
I mean, you've made it seem really easy. And when we were at Cooptastic, your talk was very good in telling people what you really need to do along with their slides and showing all these different things that people need to set up. It's not too hard. It's just going to be a little different than chicks. So if you're making the transition, here's my other question. Would you recommend that your waterfowl have a separate flock rather than keeping, let's say, the chickens and the ducks together? Is it better to do them separate, or are you okay putting them all together?
I'm okay putting them all together.
Okay.
I am. And I'm saying they're easy, but I don't want to say that you don't have to have responsibility over them or anything like that. So they're easy, but they're still a responsibility. They're still a pet or an animal on your farm or your backyard that you have to take full responsibility for.
And some of their major health problems are the lack of niacin that they get in the diet. We talked to Dr. Rebecca about this, our vet, and that's what she sees a lot of them, right, Holly Ann, coming in?
She does. She says she also sees some angel wing, which is that too much protein causes angel wing?
Yeah.
Yeah, too much protein. That is something that I will see on geese. It's so rare on ducks. So I don't see it much on ducks, but it could happen fairly easily on geese with too much protein because they do grow. They grow quick.
So what happens is their feathers start to grow in the wrong direction?
Yeah, so their feathers almost stick out perpendicular to their body.
Oh, wow.
Their wing feathers. Not the whole body, just a few feathers on their wing that will stick straight out.
If you change it, does it go back? Do they fall out and grow nicely?
No, it's permanent. Yeah. And they're fine. They're healthy because, domesticated geese don't fly. So they're not needing those feathers to fly, but it just doesn't look natural on them.
I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that Dr. Rebecca said that she saw.
Occasional heavy metal poisoning, I guess because they like to eat shiny things.
Yeah.
Predator attacks. I think she said a lot of predator attacks because they don't have a lot of defenses and they're not very fast.
And the lack of niacin was the other big one.
Yeah, I think those really are the only ones where there's a whole host of things that could be health problems with chickens. Yeah.
And then symptoms of a lack of niacin would be issues with their legs. So if you're noticing that your duck isn't walking with a lot of stability or they have bow legs, that could be an indication that you need to supplement with some additional niacin.
Okay.
All good stuff to know.
Chickens and ducks can live together pretty well. Would you brood them together or would you recommend separate brooders for chickens and ducks? Probably because of the water and the temperature difference, maybe?
You could start them off early, but you're going to eventually have to separate them because the ducks are going to grow a lot faster than the chickens.
Okay.
And so if you just have a few, you could probably do it together. But if you have, let's say, 5 or more ducks, I think you would want to separate them and brood them separately.
Okay, great.
And one of the major differences between the female and the males is the curly tail, correct?
Yeah, curly tail, but that's not noticeable until they get their full feathers. The quack is a different quack. Female quack is quack, quack, quack. Male quack is quack, 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 almost like a frog sounding. And different breeds have, the male duck will have different feathering, color, and there's a little bit of a size difference too.
It always comes to mind the mallards because we grew up on the water and we would always have mallards around. And you always could tell the difference between with the feather colors, that way. Mm-hmm. But then some of the other ducks, I remember you were saying that the only difference is a little curly tail in the back. Or was that the geese?
Ducks.
That's ducks.
Yep.
Okay, so let's look into Metzer Farm and any more future plans. Now, we know you have the new hatchery in Memphis. That's on the board. And we do know that you're super excited about your new supplement that's out. We got a chance to look at it. It looks awesome. And tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Vitamets is a supplement that we came out with this year, and we're really excited about it because it is it was created for waterfowl in mind. So it has the exact amount of niacin needed, all the trace minerals, electrolytes, and it has probiotics. So it could be added into the water for them to drink, or it could be top dressed on feed if you're somebody that likes to mix your own feed. So it has all the trace minerals and everything needed if you're mixing your own feed. Now, I understand a lot of people don't mix their own feed, but it is a complete package for waterfowl. And it could be eaten or drank by chickens or turkeys too. But we spent a lot of time with nutritionists to kind of really find the perfect recipe for waterfowl.
Is it a daily supplement? So can people use it every day? And is it just for the ducklings and the goslings, or is it for ducks and geese as adults also?
Both ducks, geese, goslings, ducklings. We don't use it every day. It doesn't need to be used every day. It's more of a stress when the times of stress, when you transport them, maybe when they come into lay, when you first get them from a hatchery or feed store. Any time that you feel like they might need an extra boost, if they look like something's wrong, you can give it to them. And it's really easy to mix into water for them to drink. Or like I said, you could mist or kind of dampen the feed a little bit and spread it on the feed, and it will stick to the feed, and then they'll eat it up there. But we're super excited about it.
And it's something that we've added at checkout when somebody buys their ducklings to add it to their order. And I personally really like to pack an order of ducklings when I'm putting this Vitamets in under the bedding, knowing that when they get to their final destination, this is something that you can put in the water and really get them that hydration quickly. Sometimes when people call, if they have any concerns about how their duck is looking, I say, do you have any of this on hand? And oftentimes people don't. And so ordering it with your birds or buying it from your local feed store before you get your birds, so that when they arrive, whether they're chickens or ducks, I think it's good to have a hydration supplement ready to go, so that when you welcome those birds into their brooder, they've got something that's going to give them that extra little boost to get on the right track.
That's great. I have a bag of it in my feed room waiting for the goslings to arrive.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll do a review of it in an upcoming retail therapy segment. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
And if they want to repurchase it, do they come to the website to repurchase, or where can people get this?
Yeah, so they could just go onto the website. They don't have to order anything else. We could just ship it direct to them if that's the only thing they want to buy. And people are doing it. So we're just shipping out baggies of it.
And
Great.
we also had our first feed store purchase a box of it to carry in inventory at their feed store. So if anybody that's listening has a local feed store that they want to carry Vitamets, we do have a wholesale price, and we are looking to get it out into feed stores so that when you need a bag here or there, you can grab it off the shelf. So that was very exciting.
That's
fantastic.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great. So we're going to ask each of you this. I'm sure you've formed an opinion by now, Katy. What are your favorite breeds of ducks and or geese? And you can have more than one.
You want to go first?
I think, did she say Katie?
Oh, me only.
Well, both of you.
Yeah, both of you, but Katy can go first.
Because I know Mark's answer, and I'm waiting for him to hear his enthusiasm. I think that my favorite breed of dogs. Oh, this is hard.
It's hard. It's an unfair question, but we ask everybody that comes on the show, we ask this question.
And you can have more than one. That's fine.
I think my favorite breed of ducks is the runner ducklings. And I like them because as they grow up, I think it's really comical to watch how they run vertically, how they stay as kind of a pack and just look like a moving bowling ball throughout their pen, just kind of running back and forth. So I think that whenever I see a runner duck, I can't help but smile. And then especially with the females, their quack to me sounds like a laugh track. And so when we move back to California, we'll be living at a house on the farm as well. And you can hear the distant laughter of the ducks. So whenever Mark has a joke that I don't think is so funny, there usually tends to be a well-timed in the back. So I tell him, well, she thought it was funny. So we're going to have a constant laugh track in our future.
So were the runner, was the runner duck the duck in the box?
No, don't you remember that was a pekin?
Oh, it's a pekin. It was.
Yeah.
A pekin in a top hat.
That's hilarious. Okay, Mark, what are your favorites? Ducks and geese. Ducks and geese.
Yeah. Okay. So ducks, Katie knows it. Call ducks are my favorite, and penciled call duck, to be specific.
They're pretty. They're really
cute.
They are. And just call ducks are the coolest ducks to me because they are calm. Just naturally, they're not afraid of people, and they're cute, and you can hold them easily. They're small. They are a forever duckling or a forever puppy kind of look to them, and they are just great pets to have, I think. So those call ducks, but penciled ones, I really like the coloring on them.
Do they lay small eggs or bigger eggs?
No, they lay smaller eggs, but it is kind of like a chicken egg size, so smaller compared to a duck egg. But when we for hatching an incubator, we use chicken trays for their eggs.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are my favorite. And for geese, I like buff geese. I just like the color of them, and they're just to me, a farm goose, a goose that you would kind of see on a farm. And I like that. And I think before the call ducks, buff ducks were my favorite duck, but these call ducks are new to us this year. And so I'm just super excited about them. And then I have a few ducks of another breed that I am hoping to grow into a flock, and they are the Australian spotted. And I am just like super enthusiastic about those ones. So we'll see what happens in the future, but I have a really small pen with just a few of them, or a handful of them, I should say. And I'm really excited about the Australian spotted.
You heard it here first. This is the first time I've heard him publicly say anything.
I was wondering if he was going to mention it or not. And there's a really great story behind them because they're actually an American breed and not an Australian breed.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have you on another time to talk more about that.
Yeah.
I think they've got a really great story, and they're really neat looking ducks.
I love your enthusiasm when you talk about it. It's just, it's awesome that you're so excited and that you love what you do, both of you. And Katy, you can't go back to school. You got to just be the first duck lady.
We're having a lot of fun. Mark makes every day exciting, and we are really having a lot of fun here hatching out ducks and geese and getting to share them with people all across the country. Our customers are the best. I spend a lot of time looking at our social medias. We're on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and our customers will get their box of ducks or geese. Or now we also have a brown egg layer or Cornish cross or guineas or different things, and they tag us and they share their photos with us. So when I'm here in the hatchery packing up orders and sending them out into the world, I get to see them grow up, and to connect with our customers is really fun. So
We bring the joy of waterfowl to families across the country.
You do.
Wonderful.
And I train in our staff by telling them that too. I say, what we do here is really special. There's not a lot of places in the world like this where you have a huge responsibility of sending something that's, going to be a pet for somebody, or if it's an egg layer, part of their business model. And so it's a big, big responsibility and a big privilege.
So, Marc, 2 of my goslings coming in, less than a month are American Buffs. Anything I need to know about them?
Oh, know that they're my favorite, so I'll be watching you.
Okay. So they're going to have a lot of social media time. You see a lot of them. Yeah. To the 2 Buffs and then 1 French Toulouse.
Cool. Yeah.
I have to go to Holly's house because I do not want to be chased later in life.
Yeah.
I need to be imprinted as Auntie Chrissy because I do not want to be chased by a goose around Holly Ann's farm. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the last thing we're going to ask you before we let you go. Any imprinting advice? Can we do this the wrong way?
Be around. Just be around. Be present. Be a good parent.
Okay, so she needs to bring them to the studio. Like, she needs to have a little papoose so that I can wear them in the studio, like when we're recording and stuff.
Yeah, daily. You have to do it every single day.
And they really like frozen peas, Chrissy. So if you want to get on their good side, have a bag of frozen peas for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When people think of geese, a lot of their experiences with a Canadian goose that's, trying to brood. And so they're pretty nasty, right? And they hiss at you. But a domestic goose that's been imprinted, that's been cared for, is going to really see its family as part of its own and be protective of you, but loving towards you. So
we are super excited. Well, thank you for 2 really great conversations. I think our listeners are going to learn a lot from this.
And they're going to love you as much as we do. And they're going to want to order some ducks and geese from you guys because family business, it's the fact that you came back to it and that you're keeping it going. That's amazing. That's awesome. And that you love it so much. And the fact that you have education in your background, I love that too, because you want to educate the person that's buying from you, and that helps the ducklings and the goslings out immensely. So thank you for doing all that. And we definitely want to have you guys back on soon.
Cool. Well, we're always available to be on your guys' show.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
We just want to thank Marc and Katy one more time for sharing tons of information about ducks and geese with us.
It was so much fun. And those 2 are amazing, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Just love them. Love those Metzers. Okay, so are we ready to move on to
cracking the eggs?
Cracking those eggs. Now, yes, last week we talked about the egg difference between chicken and duck.
Right.
And this week we're going to put it into play. We are going to do a recipe that is Duck Egg Pavlova and strawberry curd.
Exactly.
It's a dessert.
Yes. After reading over and over that duck egg whites don't whip well and can't be used to make meringue,
We want to prove them wrong.
absolutely wanted to put it to the test. I love a good Pavlova.
Yes, you do.
The secret, we're just going to give you the secret right now. The secret is adding lemon juice or vinegar to the mixture. You want an acid. Pavlova usually has one or the other of these added already to make the meringue center chewy.
Right.
But putting a bit more acid in helps the proteins in the whites denature. Essentially, that means the acid helps break down the protein connections in the whites so that they can become fluffy and retain more moisture.
Which they're going to have to do more of for the duck egg.
Exactly right.
Do you have it finding funny looking at me right now?
Yeah, I don't know what you have. Like you have a bun on.
I have a bon hon. Okay.
And your headphones and a hoodie over.
I'm cold. So yes, if you could see me now, yes, a bun, earphones, and then my hoodie over all of it.
Yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look.
Yes, it's cold down here.
My sweater doesn't have a hood, or I might be doing the same thing.
It's cold always down in our studio. That's what we say. Okay,
Yes.
So let's get back to this.
Well, if you don't want to make this pavlova using duck eggs, check out our recipe for pavlovas back in episode 29.
Way back in the beginning.
Episode 29. Now, either one of these recipes should be made ahead of time, and you can make your own curd or other fillings ahead of time, too.
We did this for our Chicken Lady garden party, too.
We did, right. And that one, when we made the pavlova, we used the egg yolks to make salted egg yolks.
Yeah, we did.
We did preserve the egg yolks in salt. For this recipe, you're going to use 4 duck egg whites and then 4 duck egg yolks in the curd.
Right.
So you're using
all of it.
Right.
Okay, so let's go over the ingredients first for the pavlova part.
Mm-hmm.
As Holly Ann said, 4 duck egg whites, 1 cup of sugar.
Granulated.
Make sure it's granulated, she said.
Well, don't use the powdered stuff. It's not going to work. You need granulated.
Granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. That's what she was talking about with that acid. Whipped cream or dairy-free whipped cream, and 1 recipe of the strawberry curd, which we'll get into after we talk about all this. Then you're going to need some extra strawberries for garnish or edible flowers, because if you're going through all this work, you're going to want it to look really pretty.
Make it pretty.
Yep.
You're going to preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. Line a cookie sheet or 2 cookie sheets, because this makes a pretty big pavlova. Line a cookie sheet or 2 with steel pats or parchment paper. If you're doing a big one, draw a roughly 8-inch diameter circle on the paper. That's your guide. If you want a perfect circle, you can use a plate or the bottom of a frying pan to make a template for your meringue.
Right.
You just draw it right on the parchment paper. Using an electric mixer or a stand mixer, whisk the egg whites in a clean bowl until soft peaks start to form. Continue whisking, slowly adding the sugar, spoonful at a time, until all of the granulated sugar is incorporated and the meringue is stiff, shiny, and holds stiff peaks.
It has to hold that form.
It does, yeah. Sift the cornstarch over top of the meringue, then add that lemon juice, and using a spatula, gently but quickly fold it into the meringue mixture.
Right.
Mix it right in there. This is where you're going to spoon the meringue onto your pans. Spoon it into the center of your circle. Again, if you're doing a smaller one, you're going to do multiple. Spread out the meringue to fill the circle that you're using. Then you're going to use a spoon to create a wide bowl in the middle. Think of it like making a pie shell.
It's like a cloud dish.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it this way, a fluffy cloud dish that you can serve something in. And that's what you're making.
Right. You're going to place this in the oven and immediately reduce the oven heat to 300. You're going to cook it for 1.25 hours. Turn your oven off and you leave the pavlova in the oven to cool completely. That's why we say get started ahead of time.
Yeah, it's something that you have to make. You could even make these a day or 2 ahead of time.
It's best if you do, yeah.
Okay, so then you're going to need to spoon in your curd. So let's go through the recipe for the curd. It makes 1 cup. That's 250 mLs. 4 duck yolks. So there's your other yolks that you saved from the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
A 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar.
It's important.
It's granulated.
Yes.
A 1/3 cup of butter or dairy-free butter, and 2 cups of strawberries washed, trimmed, and sliced into quarters.
You're going to put those strawberries and a splash of water into a saucepan. Cook them, stirring often until the berries have cooked down and resemble a thick puree. Set this aside to cool a bit. Then you're going to whisk your egg yolks and sugar together in a medium saucepan. Once they're nice and blended, you're going to stir in the cooked strawberries. Then you're going to add the butter, place the saucepan over medium heat, and continue to stir for about 5 minutes until the mixture thickens and just begins to bubble. Remove that from the heat, allow it to cool completely. That's your strawberry curd.
And then spoon it into your dishes.
Right. Once it's cool, you're ready to assemble. And again, you can make the curd ahead of time. You can have everything refrigerated and ready to go. Before you serve, you're going to assemble. Fill your pavlova shells with the strawberry curd, top with whipped cream or dairy-free whipped cream. You're going to garnish with those strawberries and or edible flowers. Make it look pretty. Serve and enjoy. It's a great spring dessert.
I should just put up an old picture of our other one that we did.
You can.
Just so that people can see an example of it in case you don't know what it is. But it is a fun springtime dessert. Serve it at a party. Have your bestie over. Take it to a party as a hostess gift.
Like we said, you can use our other recipe if you want to do chicken eggs, but it's kind of fun with the duck eggs, and it does have a very rich taste.
It does, definitely.
It's delicious.
Try it. You might like it. Send us pictures. These are ones we want to see your pictures.
Oh,
okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, I mean, okay, we went from heat to AC. What do you think about with that? You think about flops, right?
I don't.
I think about wearing flops.
I know you like the flops. I don't do flops.
So I like flip-flops in the summertime. So we found a company and it's called Tidewater Sandals, and you can get chicken flops. And what they are, those big, thick, black soles flops.
They're a little fancier than the skinny ones.
Yeah. And they are better for your feet for sure. And the straps have a bunch of chickens on them. Now, they're $29 for a pair of flops, but you know, that's not too bad, especially if you're going to wear them all summer.
They actually give a teacher discount. So,
if you're a teacher, go check it out. But they're so cute and they keep popping up on our social media. I wonder why.
They do.
And so, of course, we had to check them out and check them out. Chicken flops.
Again,
for summer.
I do not wear flops, but I will wear slides. And they have some cute slides. No chicken slides, but toucan and hibiscus slides that are really cute.
Yeah. I will probably be getting these chicken flops.
Okay.
Probably. Okay, so we should tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week.
Next week, we're spotlighting one of the most popular chickens of all time, the Silkie.
Yes, we are.
We have Marc and Twain from Neutrina back on the show.
Welcome back, guys.
Cracking the eggs is cheesy potato hash.
Sounds good to me.
That sounds really good. And retail therapy is super fun. We're going back to some books. We've got a cozy chicken mystery series called Clucks and Clues.
If you're a mystery reader, this is a chicken book or chicken series for you. Okay, so what shall we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.